Okay, we are now live and on the record for Tuesday afternoon's criminal docket for the Honorable Judge Omar Maldonado, County Court at Law number 8. Okay, Mr. Garcia, you want to start for the state, please?
On any specific case, Judge, we do have a number of cases that are ready for plea.
Okay, so then the attorneys that have the raise your hand reaction button, are you here on County Court 8's docket?
County Court 9, Judge.
Okay, so are any attorneys here ready for County Court at Law number 8's docket? Mr. Munoz?
Judge, I have a plea, Judge.
Yes, we're taking, I think those are the pleas are the only ones that are ready for Court 8. Those are the announcements I'm taking on theirs.
Oh, okay.
What number?
I'm not sure, Judge. I'm sorry. I'm standing in for Jorge Munoz. He has 2 pleas. One of them, Samuel Vela, number 34 and 35, Judge.
Okay. And any other attorneys here for County Court 8's docket that is ready for plea?
Yes, Your Honor. Roberto Mesa, Judge, I have a plea that should be ready. He should be the last one on the list for the docket for County Court 8, Your Honor.
Okay, Michael John Wood.
Yes.
Okay, so Samuel Vela, are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you need to turn your camera on. Michael Wood, are you present? Michael Wood. Do you want an opportunity to contact your client, Mr. Mesa?
Yes, Judge. If you give me an opportunity, I think he had it for 2 o'clock, but I sent him a text. Let me get with him, Judge.
Okay, no wonder. I
Excuse me,
didn't know.
Judge.
I did not realize, Mr. Garcia, that your docket was for 2.
And Judge, this is Dan Longoria. I also have 25 that signed up for a plea.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, we have 15 more minutes for County Court at Law number 8. I was trying to take them up first because they're our guests today, but it doesn't, I don't want to hold any of their defendants liable for not being here since they had the notice for the 2 o'clock setting. So we'll come back to theirs. I'm going to go ahead and start on my docket then for County Court at Law number 9 for Tuesday afternoon, December 14, 2021. So I'll take quick announcements on mine first. Mr. Arredondo, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Judge. I have number 23 on your docket, Julius Dwayne Ramon, and he's in custody, Judge.
Okay, Deputy, if you can please have Julius Dwayne Ramon come forward.
He's present.
Okay, and what is your announcement, Counselor?
Judge, the state tendered a recommendation to me, Judge, this week, but he still has 2 felonies at intake.
Okay, Mr. Lozano, do you see that they're still at intake?
That's correct, Your Honor. They're still at intake, and the recommendation plea paperwork was sent out on December 12th.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and have him, I'm gonna set him up for a status. Let me see. For January the 25th at 1:30, and let's see if he's already, if the felony is filed by then.
And then he also has he had 2 cases, Judge, in your court, but one of them was set for today, and then another one is set for Thursday, Judge.
What's the number?
I have the CR number, Judge, for the one on Thursday is CR 21-07598I.
And what's the offense?
DWI, Your Honor.
Okay, Class B?
Class B, Your Honor.
Has he already been arraigned on that?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go ahead and set him for the same day, Mr. Arredondo.
Yes, Judge, 'cause they were always together. I don't know why they got split up this time.
I don't know, sir. Okay, so we'll have him come back on January the 25th at 1:30.
Thank you, Judge. And I have one other client.
Okay, go ahead.
It's 6, 7, and 8 on your docket. Fernando Garza de los Rios.
Okay, CR 21-02822-I, CR 21-02823-I, and CR 20-07477-I. Deputy, if you can please bring Mr. De Los Rios forward.
He's present, Your Honor.
Okay, and what is your announcement, Counselor?
I reached out to Mr. Jay Garza, just the prosecutor on the felony side, and he wanted to speak with the misdemeanor DA judge before seeing whether they were going to dismiss the cases or not.
So has the felony already been,
Yeah, just he played out to the felonies judge to, I believe it was 5 years, and then he has three pending misdemeanors.
Judge, if I may,
Yes.
I'm currently staffing the case with Chief Lozano to see if we can dismiss these cases.
so right now he's also being held on the felony?
No, judge, he's already played out to those.
Yeah, but was the plea, did it include jail time or no?
Yes, judge.
Okay. So, we'll just come back, I guess, on January the 25th, unless, if they're gonna dismiss it and they need a setting sooner, if it's not just gonna be done administratively, then just let us know and we'll try to get you in sooner.
Will do, judge.
And those will be at 1:30.
Thank you, judge. That's all I have. May I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you, judge. Have a great day.
Okay, Mr. Moreno?
Good afternoon, Judge. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Your Honor, 26 on your docket.
Okay, that is Jesus Carlos Villarreal, CR 1904-734-I. And what is the announcement?
Your Honor, he's present. This is on a motion for bond, Judge. He was before Your Honor in June of 2021 on a Class B DWI misdemeanor. He was placed on 9 months probation with standard conditions. He has no prior criminal history. He was arrested in October for an alleged assault by his soon-to-be ex-wife. They're going through a divorce right now. And there's an arrest warrant for him on an MTR that was filed. He made bond on the assault, but the state filed an MTR on the DWI case. So I filed a motion for bond. I believe we have an agreement on the amount subject to the court's approval, but I believe the state is recommending or asking the court to include as a condition that he have the mobile monitoring device added to his conditions of bond. And I don't think that's necessary, Judge. I mean, it was a Class B, the assault. Actually, we're going to contest the assault. I think it's related to the pending divorce, but he works in Lake Jackson, Texas. So he's not even here. He's on Zoom right now, but he works in Lake Jackson. There was a protective order that was granted, but it has since expired. So what we're asking from the court is the court to set a bond of $2,000 cash surety on the MTR, and with the main condition of no harmful contact with the victim, which he has had none.
Okay, so as part of his 9 months probation on those conditions, he wasn't required to have a mobile device?
No, Judge, it was a Class B first-time DWI.
Okay, so Mr. Lozano, can you confirm that you all have agreed to a $2,000 cash surety on the MTR?
Your Honor, we can agree to a $2,000 cash surety bond with an alcohol monitoring device and to stay away from the victim, Nikita Mata.
Okay, and Mr. Villarreal, are you present?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Villarreal, I'm going to grant your motion to set bond. I'm setting it at a $2,000 cash surety. I'm not going to order that you have a mobile alcohol monitoring device at this time. I am also ordering that you have no harmful contact with the alleged victim, Nikita Mata. And I do need a phone number for you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Do you need it this moment?
I sure do.
The area code is 979-388-3789.
Okay, so for the next setting, what do you want to do, Mr. Guareno? Or what what's the next step you want to take?
Well, Your Honor, we're going to be asking for a trial date on the assault, but it has not been filed yet. I don't know if the court wants to handle the MTR before that, but it just depends on how the state wants to handle that.
Mr. Lozano, do y'all have a position one way or another?
Your Honor, not at this time. The assault is still in jailings. I reviewed the facts on it. The defendant does need to report to probation though.
Okay. So do you know if, as part of his 9 months on probation, was it approved for him to report by phone or mail?
I know the court granted a request for him to be able to leave the county for employment purposes, but I'm not sure how he's reporting, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Villarreal, how have you been reporting, by phone or mail?
The first one was through phone, and the last three, the first one was in person, I'm so sorry. And the last 3 or 4 have been over the phone with Miss Maria Peña.
Okay, Ms. Soto, can you confirm?
That is correct, Judge, and he does have an office visit scheduled on January the 18th to report with Ms. Peña in person.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and will you be making it down here?
Yes, I will be in person. I'll make arrangements.
Okay, well then I'm gonna set him for a status on the same date,
Understood.
and it'll be at 9:30.
And Judge, I did mention that he is working in Lake Jackson, but he is scheduled to be down here on Thursday to surrender to the jail on that, on the MTR. I believe there is still an outstanding warrant. I was going to ask the court, since the court has set the bond at 2,000, if the court can make sure that that warrant is recalled so he won't get stopped on the way down.
Okay, what are we showing the warrant as? Mr. Damian, if you can.
One second, Judge.
Hold on, Mr. Garcia, get a shirt on. Overland Garcia, get a shirt on now.
I'm showing there is a warrant outstanding, motion to revoke with the sheriff's office.
Okay.
No bond set on it.
Oh, yeah, okay, so we just set the bond on that, and so I'll, we'll go ahead and process for that warrant to be set aside so that he can go in and out.
And he'll be here on Thursday, Judge, the day after tomorrow.
Okay, so we need to, Mr. Damian, need to make a notation that that gets done before he turns himself in on Thursday.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Villarreal, there's a lot of things, the court is extending a lot of courtesies to you, and now it's your turn to do what you need to do for yourself, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. I understand.
So you're gonna turn yourself in on Thursday. Hopefully you'll be in and out. You have a bond that's set on your MTR. Make sure that you're prepared. If not, you're not gonna be able to bond out. You're gonna show up in person to your next probation appointment on January the 18th. And then you're also going to have a status hearing at 9:30. And at this time, that'll be by Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
All right. Okay, anything else on him, Mr. Corona?
No, Your Honor, that's all we have. We would be excused.
Okay. Yes. Give me 1 minute.
Ma'am.
Okay, go ahead. That's fine. Yes, you may be excused.
Thank you, Judge. Stay safe.
Thank you. Your Honor.
Likewise. All right, Mr. Alanis?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I have Pedro Elias Lucio. He's number 11 and 12 on today's docket. Mr. Lucio has his felony in the 464th. It is set for January the 5th. All 3 charges come from the same incident. We're asking for the court to please consider moving this matter a week after the 5th.
Okay, Pedro Lucio, deputy, can you please bring him forward?
He's present, Your Honor. He's also a Spanish speaker.
Okay, So then he's gonna be for February the 5th, he'll be on that.
Judge, I'm
felony?
sorry, Judge, to interrupt you. I apologize. I said January the 5th, Your Honor. If you want
Oh.
to set this 30 days later, that'd be okay too.
Okay, it'll be January the 25th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
1:30. Ms. Castañeda, please let him know that his next setting is January the 25th at 1:30.
Señor Lucio, su próxima corte va a ser el 25 de enero a la 1:30 de la tarde. Thank you.
Your Honor, that's all I
anything
have.
else?
That's all I
right.
have, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so very much, Your Honor. Stay safe.
Likewise. Okay, Mr. Mesa?
Yes, Your Honor, he should be on, Judge.
Okay, but you're on the court 8 docket, right?
Yes, Judge.
Okay,
It's
give me
ready
a-
for a plea. That's
Okay,
fine.
give me a minute.
Yes,
All right,
Judge.
Mr. Gonzalez, Daniel Gonzalez.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. How you doing?
Good
I'm sorry,
afternoon.
afternoon, Your Honor. How you doing?
Okay, what
I have a
number?
plea, Your Honor. I don't know if we could do a plea right now, Your Honor.
Okay, what, for which court?
For your court, Your Honor.
Okay.
Number 42 on the criminal docket, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm gonna take the pleas up just shortly. Let me continue with quick announcements.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Osuna?
Morning or good afternoon, Your Honor. I have number 20 on the court's docket, State of Texas versus Rafael Marquez. I do see Mr. Marquez, he's under his own name. That's CR 20-06558I. Mr. Marquez has a felony that hasn't been indicted, Your Honor, so we're humbly asking for 45 days.
Okay, so this is on number 13, 14, and 15, right? Rafael Marquez?
I may only have number 20, Your Honor. Let me double check because I think he also has
Oh.
retained counsel, but I'll double check.
Okay, so Rafael Marquez, are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, did you retain Juan Alvarez and Melissa Canales for your other case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then on your case, Mr. Osuna, it's on CR 20-06558-I,
Yes, Your Honor.
okay? And you were stating that there's a felony.
Yes, Your Honor. And I checked Odyssey moments ago and it hasn't been indicted yet, so we were asking for 45 days.
Okay, so he'll come, I'm just gonna set him for a status then
Yes.
on February the 22nd at 9:30.
They told me, they called me earlier today, ma'am, saying that they're gonna decide to give me the 4 years deferred probation today. I don't know what Miss Melissa told me. I'm not sure.
I don't have anything on here for that, sir. I'm not sure why they told you that. But the thing is that you have 3 different cases with 2 different attorneys. So on the case where Mr. Osuna is representing you, his announcement is that you have an outstanding felony that still hasn't been filed. So they really can't take care of your misdemeanor cases until that felony is taken care of. Unless for some reason your other attorneys are going to take a different route. But for this case, this is the route that your attorney, Mr. Osuna, is taking. Therefore, you'll have a status hearing on February the 22nd at 9:30. You'll have to stay on until somebody from Mr. Alvarez's office comes on as well, okay?
On the Zoom?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Osuna, do you have another case?
Yes, Your Honor. We have number 16, CR 21-13952I, State of Texas versus Alexander Mortimer. Your Honor, we made an attempt to see Mr. Mortimer last Friday in person, but he was in infirmary. I was able to get him on the phone early this morning. He did not say anything patently incompetent, I guess, but there were statements that he made.
I'm sorry, you said, what?
He didn't, yes, Your Honor, he didn't make any statements that were like overtly incompetent or that would suggest incompetency, but there were statements that he made that would make me want to observe him in person, and I had that benefit this morning. In any instance, he did tell me that he has no interest in a court-appointed attorney. I know I run afoul of somebody's Sixth Amendment rights if I continue to represent them against their wishes. At the same time, I do believe I have some flexibility when there are competency issues. So I'm in kind of a tough spot. But yes, Your Honor, so that's my announcement. I guess I would defer to the court's wisdom. If Mr. Mortimer is willing to allow me to visit with him in person here within the next week, that would probably help matters, but I'm not sure he's inclined to do that.
Okay, Mr. Mortimer, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sir. So you have been assigned the public defender's office as your defense attorney of record for the assault causing bodily injury. Your attorney is requesting an in-person meeting with you so that you can discuss certain things. Will you be, are you okay with seeing him in person?
Yes, I am. I don't know what he means about incompetence.
No, he didn't. He said that he didn't hear anything of incompetence.
Oh, he didn't hear anything of incompetence.
Correct.
I didn't hear that the assault caused a injury.
Okay.
Mr. Mortimer, we do not want to discuss the facts of the
Right.
case.
So those are all things you all are going to talk about in person. But now that we know that you will accept a meeting with your attorney, then he's going to visit you here shortly, and you're going to come back. As of right now, you'll be back on January the 25th at 1:30, unless your attorney requests an earlier setting. Okay.
All right. Will I see him today?
I don't know if today, because he's still on this docket and may have other hearings, but certainly within the next few days.
All right. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Osuna, your next case?
Oh, I have nothing further, Your Honor. Maybe excuse, please.
You certainly may.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Martinez?
Good afternoon, Judge. I've got 4 on your docket. This is Mr. Jose Jimenez. He's also labeled as Jose Santa Cruz. It's numbers 9 and 10, and then 24 and 25. These are dismissals based on a plea out of a felony, Judge.
Okay. So that's, you said 9 and 10, and then 24 and 25, right? Okay, give me a moment. Okay, so this is on CR 21-08197-I, CR 21-12242-I, CR 21-07597, I'm sorry, no, CR 21-06, 05623-I, and CR 21-05770-I. And what is the state's announcement on these cases?
Your Honor, the state's going to move to dismiss these cases. Defendant pled in CR 193421E. So we'll be moving to dismiss.
Okay, those motions to dismiss on each of those offenses is granted. So then you'll submit the order and it'll be forwarded to my queue, and I'll sign off on it, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, anything else?
Judge, I'm also standing in for a plea for Ms. Regina Richardson, Judge. I believe it is numbers 32 to 39. If you're doing pleas at the end, Judge, I can stand by.
Thank you. We're almost there.
Yes, Judge, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. With your permission, Your Honor, Mr. Martinez access plea.
Yes, he can stand in for you. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm guessing that's what you said. It froze up on you. So don't worry.
Yes, I don't. Oh, I'm sorry, Judge. That's what I was asking. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, Mr. Cavazos. Jaime Cavazos. Yes, sir.
Yes, Judge. We're here on a plea for Eliseo. I'm sorry, for Diaz Miranda, number 27, Judge. I'm sorry.
Okay. For Adamaris Avila?
No, it's Adan Diaz Miranda.
It's
Judge. Number 25. Okay, I had number 27. I apologize, Judge.
Okay, are you on which court? Mine?
No, I'm in court number 8.
Okay, I'm going to take you all up shortly. You're ready for your plea, though?
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have, Judge.
Okay, one moment. Okay, Mr. Wise?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir.
I've got Samantha Ivan Rios. I don't have the docket number on that on her, Your Honor. I want to say it was like 42, 47, but I'm not sure. I
Number
apologize.
46, Judge.
46, I believe.
Okay, Samantha Yvonne Rios is number 42 on the court docket, CR 1904117-I. And is Ms. Rios present?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and what is your announcement, Counselor?
Your Honor, I need some more time. I spoke with Daniel Gonzalez yesterday. Her PTD got denied, and he said I needed to talk to either Mr. Rodriguez or Mr. Garza.
Okay.
Ahí está. ¿Es tuya? Hold on. Okay.
But if I
And-
can get a setting for sometime in early part of January, mid-January, give me an opportunity to get past the holidays, make sure everybody is back in their office.
Okay, Mr. Lozano, do you have anything to add to that announcement?
Your Honor, that's correct. PTD was denied. Plea paperwork was sent out on December 12th.
Okay, so Mr. Wise, you're going to do a PTD reconsideration?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so they do have a process for that now. If you want to reach out to the DA's office, and they'll let you know, because I think you have to resubmit or something like that.
Okay, will do.
And then let them know, but that this time it's for reconsideration.
Okay.
So if you'll just get with them and they'll let you know. For now. Ms. Rios, do you have an alcohol monitoring device?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay, then we'll have you come back. For right now, I'm gonna set you for a status on March the 1st at 9:30. And then we'll see if you have a response between now and then, let us know and we'll set you sooner depending on what it is that they tell you, Mr. Wise.
Appreciate it, Your Honor.
Okay,
Be blessed.
Anything-
Nice seeing you and stay safe.
thank you, likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Contreras?
Your Honor, right here, Your Honor.
Okay, what number?
Number 1, again on your docket. That's two times in a row.
Okay, that's on Santos Avitia.
You're gonna buy the lotto today, Judge. Yes, for the
Yes.
record, Jesse Contreras for Santos Avitia, Your Honor, on C. Well, he's got several cases, but I do have a question for the court, Your Honor, in a bit.
Okay, so this is on CR 1908160-I. So Mr. Avitia was supposed to be ready, but there was an issue with his felony, or what happened with that? Anybody?
May I ask a question, Your Honor?
Yes. Mr. Contreras, what happened with this felony?
Judge, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, I can't hear you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Lozano, can you check in your system? What is it that happened with the felony? Because I believe Mr. Avitia was supposed to be ready to plea out today, or they would have been dismissed.
Your Honor, there's a status
Lozano,
hearing.
can you hear
on
the
his-
judge? Because I can't hear both of you guys.
Okay, what, Mr. Lozano?
Your Honor, there's a status hearing on the felony for December 17, 2021. The issue was on the possession of controlled substance, CR 19-08160-I. We didn't get paperwork back that was signed, and it is out of the same transaction as the felony. So at this time, the state's offering 18 months probation, or we'll dismiss it with the plea to the felony.
Okay, Mr. Contreras, are you able to hear us now? Okay, now he's frozen. Mr. Contreras, can you hear us now? Okay, Mr. Avitia, I'm sorry, there's issues with your attorney's connection, so we'll be right back with you, sir. I apologize. Okay, Mr. Flores, Eric Flores.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I have numbers 28 through 31 on this criminal docket. This afternoon, it is State of Texas versus Overland Garcia. CR
Okay.
18-05-993, 00335, 00336, and 11695. He was set up for a plea this afternoon, Your Honor. However, after speaking to Mr. Walker in the felony court, I do want to visit with my client again, as some circumstances have changed. So I will respectfully ask in the court at this time for a little bit more time, Your Honor, if you'll entertain that.
Okay, so do you want the next setting to be for a status or for a plea?
Let's go ahead and just set it up for a plea, Your Honor, if that's okay with the court.
Okay, so that would be on January 25th or February the 8th.
Okay, we'll take January 25th, Your Honor.
Okay, that'll be January 25th at 1:30.
Okay.
And does Mr. Garcia have an alcohol monitoring device?
No, he does not, Your Honor. It's never been implemented, Your Honor.
Okay,
These are his first offenses.
it's because I have him down for 2 DWIs. So,
Yes, there is 2 on this docket. Yes, Your Honor.
okay. All right, so then we'll go ahead and see Mr. Garcia back here on January the 25th at 1:30. And Mr. Garcia, I expect that next time you'll be dressed appropriately, sir. Okay, anything else, Mr. Flores?
Nothing at this time, Your Honor. Be excused.
Yes,
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you, sir. Okay, Attorney Hector Hernandez, Mr. Hernandez.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Hector Hernandez Jr. I'm here on number 4 and 5 on your criminal docket. State of Texas versus David Castillo.
Okay, Deputy, if you can bring David Castillo forward, please.
He's coming. He's present.
Okay, and that's on CR 21-05366-I, CR 21-05367-I. And what is the announcement, Counselor?
Yes, Your Honor. He has some, it says status federal hold. He is not being held federally on anything. He is in Hidalgo County custody. However, there's a felony tied to each of these offenses, so we need more time. But my motivation for having a hearing today also, Your Honor, was I've recently filed a motion to reduce bond on each of his cases, and we are hopeful we can hear that today.
Okay, have you conferred with the state as to an agreement for the bond amount?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Lozano, have you had an opportunity to review this to see what it is that you would agree to?
Your Honor, the state can agree to a $1,000 cash surety bond on each of Mr. Castillo or Mr. David Castillo's misdemeanor cases.
We
Okay.
can agree if you're to accept that.
Okay, the court will accept and will order a $1,000 cash surety bond on each of these cases, CR 21-05366-I and CR 21-05367-I. Okay, and his felony is set for when, Mr. Hernandez?
Your Honor, they're set for the middle of January, so we expect these cases to be resolved with the felony. So if you want to give us maybe a late February, early February setting, with your permission, you can always reset it up if necessary.
Okay, I'll have him come back on February the 8th at 1:30 on each of these.
That works for us, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jackson? Mr. Jackson?
Okay, can you hear me?
Now I can.
I'm sorry, I had it on mute. My apologies.
That's okay.
We have number 40 in today's docket, Your Honor.
Number 40?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's Alejandra Lopez, CR 20-08473-I. And what is your announcement, counselor?
Our announcement is, Your Honor, we're trying to see if the victim will sign an affidavit of non-prosecution. She called my client a few weeks back asking that she go by her home and she would sign the affidavit, but I advised her not to because I don't think that's the appropriate way to do it. Best thing would be if she actually went to the district attorney's office and communicated with them about her willingness to sign that affidavit. So we are asking for a reset to see what the victim actually wants to do on this particular case.
Okay, and is Ms. Lopez present?
Yes, she is, Your Honor. She's on her phone, Alejandra Lopez.
Okay, I do see her. And what is the alleged victim's name?
Oh, have it here in the file, Judge.
Yeah, Rodriguez, Your Honor.
Okay, and do you have a number for Maria Rodriguez, Mr. Lozano, showing up on your screen?
No, Your Honor, we don't.
Okay. So, Ms. Lopez, if you can provide a phone number to your attorney, who in turn will forward an email to Mr. Lozano so that the state can contact and make arrangements with Ms. Rodriguez to go in and sign the A&P, which is the proper procedure to follow, okay? So Mr. Jackson, as soon as you receive that information, if you can please forward it to Mr. Lozano. And that way he can start working on whether or not she will be signing an A&P and whether or not it'll be accepted.
Understood.
Okay. Hold on, who was that? Okay.
Me.
Okay, so will you please do that for me, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, so then for now, what we'll do is I'll just, I'm gonna set her for a status on February the 22nd at 9:30. And if you can have all of that done by that date, and if the state is going to accept it, I'll go ahead and hear victim testimony at that time, and we can go ahead and move forward, okay?
Fair enough, Judge.
So if the state is going to be asking for Ms. Lopez to do a class or anything else in order to consider a dismissal, please convey that to Mr. Jackson so she can start working on that immediately.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, perfect. All right. Okay, anything else?
No, Judge.
All right. Okay, thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Lopez. All right, Mr. Vargas?
Yes, Judge.
Hi, Judge, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Mr. Jackson, which is your case?
Hold on. Let me just see how long Mr. Jackson leaves himself unmuted so I can see if he tells all the other judges that they're his favorite judge. I'm just
Judge,
joking.
you're my favorite.
All right, Mr. Vargas.
Good afternoon, Judge. I have Mr. Rogelio Ramos.
What number?
I didn't get the document.
Today, your child is not with you on camera, Mr. Vargas, so you're gonna have to get the number. Can somebody give me the number?
Your Honor, I think it's a County Court 8 case. I don't
Oh,
see.
you're,
I'm sorry.
okay, just be on standby, Daniel. We'll be right with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So before I move on, I did see that Ms. Canales, can you hear me? Oh, she's gone.
Yes,
Okay.
I can, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Canales, you did have a case with me. Your client was present. I don't know, is he still present?
Yes, ma'am.
Marquez?
Yes, Mr. Marquez, are you still present?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I need you to get out of the bed. Go sit up. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Canales, you're here on CR 21-06879-I, CR 21-06880-I. And what is your announcement, counselor?
Your Honor, he does have a felony pending and they have made a recommendation, and I believe we do have an agreement on that felony, Judge. So if I'm not mistaken, I think the felony recommendation stated that he needed to plead guilty on the misdemeanor of driving while intoxicated.
Okay, so then, Mr. Lozano, can you clarify for me? So then the felony indictment is no longer pending. It's already been assigned?
That's correct, Your Honor. It's already been assigned. It has a CR number.
Okay, and what's that number?
The number is CR 195521E.
Okay, so, Ms. Gonzalez, are you asking for an opportunity to see if you're gonna be able to do a whole package on this?
Yes, Your Honor, we just need some time to get the paperwork and sign him up.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do for right now is I'm gonna set him for the status on, he has a status already on his other misdemeanor. So the status is set for February the 22nd at 9:30. If for some reason he's ready to plea, let us know and we'll accommodate you.
Very well, Judge.
So he'll come back on all three of his cases on February 22nd at 9:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And you are excused now, Mr.
Thank you.
Martinez. Ms. Gonzalez, do you have another case?
Thank you.
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, so.
Your Honor, was that on Santos Lavitia?
No.
No?
Now I'm gonna check to see if Mr. Contreras hears us. Mr. Contreras, can you hear us now? Mr. Contreras? Deputy, Mr. Contreras was having issues with his computer, but let me ask, so where are we? Do you know, Mr. Lozano, on the status with this? I know that, I mean, you're just gonna reiterate that it's either gonna be probation or it's gonna be a dismissal with the plea to the felony, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. And he had already, I'm not sure if he already pled on his other misdemeanors.
I did, I signed 1.5 years probation. I pled guilty on the misdemeanors, and I had to get hammered on the felony and the misdemeanor possession, which was today. And then on Friday, I was supposed to do my felony possession. It was gonna be dismissed, these two things, because I did accept 18 months of probation.
It's true, and I remember because he's got to get back to taking care of his mother too, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, I don't know, so his felony is set for Friday. Is that correct, Mr. Lozano? Are you showing that?
Let me see, Your Honor. It's setting for December 17th.
Okay, so that's on Friday. So Mr. Vitia, you're gonna hopefully take care of your felony on Friday. And then what I'm going to do is, well, that would be a dismissal on this one, so it should be administrative.
Correct.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a tickler for December the 22nd, actually December the 21st, just to make sure everything went through, okay? And that has nothing to do with you needing to appear again. Hopefully, no offense, hopefully we don't see each other in this circumstance again, okay?
Yeah, ma'am, and when is it that I get out? I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you that because I'm not sure what's gonna happen with your case on Friday. So, you know, that has nothing to do with me though.
Yes.
But all I'm gonna do is follow it. So I'm gonna follow your felony case and I'm gonna check up on it. Well, my staff will on the 21st to make sure, okay?
So it won't be necessarily that on Friday I'll be leaving.
I can't tell you that. I don't want to tell you yes and give you false hope or tell you no and then it's yes. It's not, I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you, but I can't.
Okay.
So, okay, give me one moment. I need a quick 2-minute break. Okay. Let me wait. Ms. Flores, are you ready?
Yes, Judge, ready.
Okay, so then, before we switch gears, is anybody else here for the County Court 9 docket before we switch to Court 8? If you're here on the County Court 9 docket,
Judge, I think that plea from Ms. Richardson was out of your court.
okay, Mr. Guajardo?
Yes, Judge, I have a plea out of your court.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the pleas right now.
Judge, and I have a plea also, Judge, at a County Court 9 docket.
Okay, so if you,
Also, I have a plea, Judge.
okay, if you can do me a favor, if you have a plea in my court, I need you to use the raise your hand reaction button so I don't skip you. So Mr. Vargas and Mr. Mess, I'm gonna ask you for a favor to please take off your reaction button. All right. Okay, Miss Love, you're here on a plea as well?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Okay. Mr. Vargas, are you also here on a plea for my court or just for Court 8?
No, it's not a plea, Judge, for either, just Court 8.
Okay, okay. Okay, County Court 9, all right. Ms. Holmes, you're on a plea for mine?
Yes, Your Honor, it's Katrina Valdez, numbers 47 and 48 on your docket.
All right, we'll get to that. Mr. Contreras, can you hear me?
Your Honor, I can hear you. Yes, I can.
Okay, so did you have another case other than Mr. Avitia?
Your Honor, for whatever reason, my audio went off and I couldn't hear what happened. I figured it was a dismissal that we taken care of before. Was that the court?
No. So the situation with Mr. Avitia is that a dismissal of this case will occur only if he pleads to the felony that he set on Friday.
No, Your Honor, it's the other way around. The felony is going to be dismissed, and we already pled to Santos Avitia's already pled to you already. We already did the plea, Your Honor.
No, you pled Mr. Avitia on all his others except for this one.
Got you. And they're going to dismiss the felony and the 275th of Judge Cuellar on the day we have hearing. I think it's Monday coming up, Your Honor.
Okay, you have a hearing on Friday, but that is not in the state's notes. What the state
I'll let the prosecutor know so that Juan, the felony prosecutor, so Juan can get a hold of Mr. Lozano and they can eliminate the unadjudicate the County Court 9 judge. But,
well, okay, so you're gonna have to have your felony prosecutor clear this up with Mr. Lozano. Because the notes that Mr. Lozano has is that there'll be a dismissal of this case with a plea to the felony. And you're saying the opposite. So if there's, all right, so right now I just have them on a tickler. So on the 21st, I need to know what's gonna happen, even though it's a tickler, so I know what to do with Mr. Avitia, because Mr. Avitia has a lot of hope that he will be out on Friday.
Yeah, we hope so. And we are going to do it, Judge. You know his story already, so I definitely am going to be on it, Judge. Okay?
Okay,
Can I
so,
be excused, Your Honor?
yes,
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, okay?
okay,
Mhm.
all right. Anything else before we take up the pleas? All right, so then, Mr. Guajardo, which one is your client?
Morning, Judge. Good afternoon, Judge. It's 43, 44, and 45. Gilberto Garcia, and he is present, Judge.
Okay. All right, Gilberto Garcia. Can you hear me? Gilberto Garcia, can you hear me?
He needs to unmute himself, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, make sure
Yes,
that
Honor,
you,
it's me.
okay, thank you. Please make sure that you stay unmuted, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then Ms. Cantu del Bosque,
Yes, Your Honor.
who's your client?
I have Christopher Alexander Priego. He's number 17 through 22.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Munoz?
Yes, Judge.
And we went ahead and reviewed it with him and
I have number 27, Judge.
Okay, so is Miss Avila present?
Yes, she is, Judge.
All right, Mr. Priego, are you present?
It's coming, Your Honor.
Okay. Miss Avila, can you hear me? Adamaris Avila, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can
Okay.
hear you.
Perfect. Stay on and stay like that, okay? All right. And Mr. Martinez, you're standing in for Miss Richardson. Which one's her client?
She's got 32, Judge, from 32 to 39. It looks like it's all one guy, multiple pleas. My understanding is that the plea sign-up was done by Mr. Alex Aguirre while she was out on medical leave. She does find him to be competent. Hopefully, if he doesn't object, we'll be ready to go.
Okay, Miguel Angel Garza, do you hear me? Miguel Angel Garza. Okay, this is the gentleman that I think is always working when there he is. Miguel, Ms. Castañeda, can you please call his name?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Miguel, take off your cap.
Yes, ma'am.
Take off your cap. Thank you. Okay. Be careful because you're freezing. So make sure that right there, it looks like you're okay. Okay. All right. So then, Miss Love, which one's yours?
Mine is number 2 and number 3 on the docket, Miss Ayala, and she's in custody.
Okay. Deputy, can we please have Eugenia Ayala?
She's present, Your Honor.
Okay. And then, Mr. Maldonado, your client's name?
Eleazar Campos, Your Honor. I don't have a docket number for him.
Okay. Does somebody have the docket number?
Your Honor, I think it's in County Court 8.
Okay, we haven't taken up court 8, please. We'll be right with you, Mr. Maldonado.
Well, the plea documents say court 9, Judge.
Oh, Mr. Lozano?
Your Honor,
I didn't receive the Zoom information. That's why I don't have the docket number, Judge.
I don't think you're on the docket. Where did you get that it was for today?
Your Honor, last week on the 7th, it was set for a plea. We had not forwarded the plea papers, and the court set it for the 14th at 1:30 today for the plea.
Your Honor, if I could get the CR number.
CR 20-02729I.
And what's his name?
Eleazar Campos, Your Honor.
And what was the offense?
This is DWI.
Class B?
Yes,
And he's only pleading on that one?
yes.
Okay, let me give Mr. Lozano an opportunity to see if the documents were submitted.
One moment, Your Honor.
Miguel, don't get off the camera. Miguel Garza, don't get off the camera.
Your Honor, the documents were submitted. Let me just check to make sure if this is his only case. Your Honor, this is his only active case. The state is ready for this plea. It wasn't set on the docket.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and take him up anyway.
Okay.
All right, and then Ms. Holmes, which one is your case?
Your Honor, it's numbers 47 and 48.
Okay.
Katrina Valdez.
And Katrina Valdez, can you hear me? Katrina Valdez.
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Perfect. Please make sure that you stay on.
Okay, no problem, Judge.
Thank you. All right, and is that it? Okay. So those of you that have checked in and that have called out your names, I need for you to pay close attention. Now, I don't believe any of you were Spanish speaking. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Some of them are going to require yes or no answers. And I need you to make sure that you listen for your name. And if you don't answer when I call out your name, I'm going to skip you. And then that's going to put you to the bottom, and then I'm going to take you at the end. Okay. And I'm sure you and your attorney have better things to do than to be waiting at the end. Okay. So if you cannot hear, or you have problems, you need to let us know so that we're able to take care of it as soon as possible. If not, you need to find a quiet place, unmute yourselves, because I'm going to call you kind of quickly. So for those of you that checked in, please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Ms. Ayala, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Campos, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Christopher Priego, yes or no? Christopher Priego, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Avila, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garza, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Please lower your hand. Did I miss anybody from this group? Okay. Now, in CR 20-02729-I, State of Texas versus Eleazar Campos, is that your true and correct name, sir?
Yes.
You're being charged with a driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor, and I'll explain the range of punishment shortly. In CR 21-10059-I, State of Texas versus Eugenia Amanda Ayala, and in CR 20-08276-I, is that your true and correct name, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
You're being charged with theft of property of greater than $100, but less than $750, a Class B misdemeanor. Mr. Lozano, please clear up for me. Is she going to get a dismissal on the resisting arrest, search, or transport to a plea on the theft?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. Okay. And so, Mr. Garcia, let me see. I'm sorry, it's Mr. Priego. On CR 21-00726-I, and on State of Texas versus Christopher Priego, is that your true and correct name?
Yes.
All right. And you're being charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 3 of greater than 28 grams. That's a Class A misdemeanor. Now, has he already pled on the felonies?
He's set for tomorrow, Judge.
Okay, so we're only taking care of this one today, correct?
There's 2 pleas today. It's on 00725 and 00726, and all the other misdemeanors will be dismissed.
All right, then in CR 21-00725-I, Mr. Priego, you're also being charged with burglary of vehicles, a Class A misdemeanor. I will explain the range of punishment shortly. Ms. Avila, in CR 20-05576-I, State of Texas versus Adamaris Avila, is that your true and correct name, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
You're being charged with theft of property of greater than $100, but less than $750, a Class B misdemeanor. I will explain your range of punishment shortly. In CR 21-02287-I, in CR 17-00502-I, in CR 16-07135-I, and CR 17-00463-I, and CR 17-12804-I, the State of Texas versus Miguel Angel Garza Jr. Is that your true and correct name, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Garza, you're being charged. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I believe I called out your case. Okay. You're being charged with accident involving damage to vehicle of greater or equal to $200. That's a Class B misdemeanor. Driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. Another driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. A duty on striking unattended vehicle, a Class B misdemeanor. And a possession of a controlled substance. Hold on. Penalty group 3 of less than 28 grams, a Class A misdemeanor. Shortly, I will explain your range of punishments, sir. In CR 21-02594-I, Mr. Gilberto Garcia Rodriguez Sr., is that your true and correct name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're being charged with assault causing bodily injury, a Class A misdemeanor. Okay, if you're being charged with a Class B misdemeanor, that Class B misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 6 months in Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $2,000 fine upon conviction. If you are being charged with a Class A misdemeanor, that carries a potential penalty of up to 1 year in Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine upon conviction. Do you understand the range of punishment that you can receive for the offense or offenses of which you are charged? Yes or no, Mr. Campos?
Yes.
Ms. Ayala, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Priego, yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Avila, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garza, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you have the right to an attorney and the right to a trial by jury. You can waive one or both of those rights by signing a written document with the court. Did you have an opportunity to review the document with your attorney before signing it? Mr. Campos, yes or no? Miss, you said yes?
Yes.
Okay, Miss Ayala, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia, yes or no? Mr. Garcia, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Priego, yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Avila, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garza, yes or no?
Yes.
And did each of you understand that when you signed that document, you were waiving your right to a trial by jury? Yes or no, Mr. Campos?
Yes.
Ms. Ayala, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia, yes or no?
Yes.
And Mr. Priego, yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Avila, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Garza, yes or no? Okay. Ms.
Your Honor.
Yes, I'm about to get to her right now. I'm sorry, I just saw
Sorry,
it.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
That's all right. Katrina Valdez on CR 21-07267-I. Is that your true and correct name?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're being charged with resisting arrest, search, or transport a Class A misdemeanor. You heard the range of punishment that I explained for a Class A misdemeanor. Did you understand that range of punishment, ma'am? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did you also understand the documents that you executed with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you understood that you are also waiving your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Castaneda and Ms. Holmes. All right, and did you understand that you are also waiving your right to a trial by jury? Ms. Ayala, yes or no?
Yes.
And Mr. Campos, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Priego, yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Avila, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Garza, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the court will accept all your waivers of trial by jury. Has any court ever declared you to be mentally incompetent, crazy, or insane? Mr. Campos, yes or no?
No.
Mr. Campos, yes or no?
No.
Okay, Ms. Ayala, yes or no?
No.
Mr. Garcia, yes or no?
I couldn't hear the question. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Has anyone ever, has any court, I'm sorry, declared you to be mentally incompetent, crazy, or insane?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Priego?
No.
Ms. Avila?
Ma'am.
Can you repeat that? It broke up.
No, ma'am.
Mr. Garza?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Valdez?
No, ma'am.
All right, counselors, in speaking with your clients, do you find them to be mentally competent and able to assist you in their own defense? Mr. Guajardo, yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Garcia is competent, Your Honor.
Ms. Cantu del Bosque?
Mr. Priego is competent, able to assist.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes, Judge, same announcement.
Mr. Martinez?
Same announcement, Mr. Garza, Judge.
Ms. Palacios Love?
Same announcement.
Mr. Maldonado?
Same announcement for Mr. Campos.
And Ms. Holmes?
Ms. Valdez is competent and able to assist.
Okay, then the court will make a finding that all the defendants before the court are mentally competent and able to assist their attorneys in their own defense. Now, do each of you understand that if the punishment I assess does not exceed what's recommended by the state, you'll need this court's permission if you decide to file an appeal? Do you understand that, Mr. Campos? Yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Ayala, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
Mr. Prego?
Yes.
Ms. Avila?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garza?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Valdez?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you further understand that the court does not have to accept the recommendation of the state? Do you understand that, Mr. Campos? Yes or no?
Yes.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Ayala?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
Mr. Prego?
Yes.
Ms. Avila?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garza?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Valdez?
Yes, Your Honor.
At this time, I need to ask you if you're a U.S. citizen. Mr. Campos, are you a U.S. citizen? Yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Ayala?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Prego?
Yes.
Ms. Avila?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garza?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Valdez?
Yes, ma'am.
If you're not a U.S. citizen, Mr. Garcia, then entering a plea or no contest will result in your deportation, exclusion, or admission from our country and denial of naturalization under U.S. federal law. Do you understand the consequences of your plea today, sir? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing and understanding the consequences of your plea and immigration status, do you still want to proceed today with your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then in CR 20-22729-I, the state of Texas versus Eleazar Campos to the offense of driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In CR 20-08276-I, the state of Texas versus Inicia, Hinija, Amanda Ayala, to the offense of theft of property of greater or equal to $100 and less than $750, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, ma'am? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In CR 21-00725-I, state of Texas versus Christopher Priego, to the offense of burglary of vehicles, a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In CR 21-00726-I, state of Texas versus Christopher Priego, for possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 3 of less than 28 grams, a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In CR 20-05576-I, state of Texas versus Adamaris Avila, to the offense of theft of property of greater or equal to $100 and less than $750, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, ma'am? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In CR 21-02287-I, state of Texas versus Miguel Angel Garza, to the offense of accident involving damage to vehicle of greater or equal to $200, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In CR 17-00502-I, state of Texas versus Miguel Angel Garza Jr., to the offense of driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor, sir. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In CR 16-07135-I, the state of Texas versus Miguel Angel Garza Jr., to the offense of driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
NCR 17000463-I, the state of Texas versus Miguel Angel Garza Jr. For the offense of duty on striking an unattended vehicle, a Class B misdemeanor, sir. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
NCR 171280-4-I, the state of Texas versus Miguel Angel Garza Jr. To the offense of possession of controlled substance, penalty group 3 of less than 28 grams, a Class A misdemeanor, sir. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
NCR 21-02594-I, state of Texas versus Gilberto Garcia Rodriguez Sr. To the offense of assault causing bodily injury, a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
NCR 21-07267-I, state of Texas versus Katrina Valdez. To the offense of resisting arrest, search, or transport, a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead, ma'am? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And are each of you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? Yes or no, Mr. Campos?
Yes.
Ms. Ayala?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia? Mr. Garcia,
I can hear you, ma'am. I'm sorry. I apologize.
are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And Mr. Prego, yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Avila?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garza?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Valdez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then the court will accept your pleas as being freely and voluntarily given. I will call for state's evidence at this time.
Your Honor, state offers plea documents and offense report to State's Exhibit 1, notification and certification of defendant's right of appeal as State's Exhibit 2, waiver of Article 3914 disclosures as State's Exhibit 3, waiver of risks and needs assessment as State's Exhibit 4, and the PTD packets as State's Exhibit 5. State would also request defense counsel stipulate to the venue and jurisdiction of this honorable court and stipulate that the evidence that has been e-filed is sufficient to corroborate a plea of guilty.
All right, any objections, Mr. Guajardo?
Objections, Your Honor. So agreed and stipulated.
Ms. Cantu del Bosque?
Objection so stipulated as to venue and jurisdiction that the evidence is sufficient for plea of guilty.
Mr. Munoz?
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't hear.
Do you have any objections
Oh,
to
no, Judge.
the state's evidence?
No objection, Judge, so stipulated.
Mr. Martinez?
Same announcement from Mr. Garza, Judge.
Ms. Palacios Love?
No objection and so stipulated.
Mr. Maldonado?
Same announcement for Mr. Campos.
Ms. Holmes?
No objection and so stipulated.
There being no objection from defense counsel as to the exhibits are hereby admitted and approved. Therefore, in CR 20-22729-I in the state of Texas versus Eleazar Campos, it is a judgment of the court, sir, that you're guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state recommends a $300 fine, court costs, 1 year deferred adjudication, an alcohol class, the ignition interlock device for 1 year, 90 days Texas driver's license suspension, and 20 community service hours.
Okay, Mr. Maldonado, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor, we believe that the interlock pursuant to the judgment that we agreed is for 6 months rather than a year. We're asking the court to consider waiving condition number 11, the community service hours. My client's is employed, is struggling financially right now. And that condition number 16 run concurrent with his administrative suspension.
Okay. Mr. Lozano, do you show that the interlock device is, you all are asking for the full year instead of 6 months?
No, Your Honor, my mistake. It was 6 months. The paperwork that was filed was 6 months.
Okay. So then the court will grant the defendant's request and waive condition number 11, his 20 CSR hours being that he's fully employed. His 90 days driver's license suspension will run concurrent with any administrative suspension. The fines and court costs, he'll pay, I'll give him 90 days to pay the fine, 90 days to pay the court costs, and the rest of the recommendation I will follow. Mr. Campos, what is your phone number, please?
956-250-2446.
Okay, the probation department will contact you at their earliest convenience, sir. Please make sure to answer.
That's all we have. Can I be excused, Judge?
Yes, sir, you may be.
Thank you, Honor. Have a good day.
Likewise. Okay, in CR 20-08276-I, the state of Texas versus Inigia Amanda Ayala. It is a judgment of the court, ma'am, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state recommends a $200 fine, court costs, 180 days Hidalgo County Jail, probated for 9 months, a thefts class, and 10 community service hours. In exchange for this plea, the state will be dismissing CR 21-10059I, resisting arrest.
Okay, Ms. Palacios Love, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Yes, I'm asking the court to waive the fine and the court costs on this matter. She has been in jail since early August. We had been waiting for a felony, but it was taking a long time to come in, and it's not out of the same transaction.
Okay, and Ms. Ayala, do you have full-time employment when you come out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the court is going to waive her fine and court costs in consideration for the time that she has served already. I'm going to waive her 10 CSR hours as well. And what is a phone number for you, Ms. Ayala, when you get out?
956-472-2716.
Okay. All right, anything else, ma'am?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, you may be excused, Ms. Ayala, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, in CR 21-00725-I, in the state of Texas versus Christopher Priego to the offense of burglary of vehicles, a Class A misdemeanor, sir. It is a judgment of the court that you are guilty as charged. And in CR 21-00726-I, for the offense of possession of controlled substance, penalty group 3 of less than 28 grams, a Class A misdemeanor. It is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation on both cases is a $100 fine, court costs, 1 day Hidalgo County Jail, credit for 1.
Okay, Ms. Cantu del Bosque, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, I would ask that the court waive the fine and the if there is any, and any court costs. He has been incarcerated since June of 2021.
Okay, then the court will waive, will consider the time that he has served, will waive the fine, waive the court costs, and also have only one probation fee. Oh, no, he's not on probation. Sorry, it's credit. Never mind. Okay. All right, we'll follow the state's recommendation then. All right, Mr. Priego, well, best of luck to you, sir.
That's all I have before this honor court. May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, in CR 20-05576-I, State of Texas versus Adamaris Avila. Is this a PTD placement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, then the court will set aside the finding of guilt dependent on if she successfully completes the pretrial diversion program. So Ms. Avila, you're asking to be placed on the pretrial diversion program. You're agreeing to comply with certain conditions. In exchange, the state is agreeing to dismiss the charges against you only if you successfully complete the program. When you signed the documents, Ms. Avila, did you understand the terms and conditions of that program?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything on there, Mr. Munoz, that that you will be asking for consideration on?
No, Judge, my client can comply with the request, Judge.
Okay. And how long is her PTD placement for, Mr. Lozano?
2 years, Your Honor.
Then we will do a 6-month status on June the 14th at 9:30.
Perfect. May she be excused, Judge?
I just need a phone number for her.
Oh, yes.
My phone number is 956-330-8154.
Okay. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, and CR 21-02287-I, and CR 17-00502-I, CR 16-07135-I, CR 170046-3-I, and CR 171280-4-I. The State of Texas versus Miguel Angel Garza Jr. It is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged on each of those offenses. Are there any questions or requests on behalf of Mr. Garza, Mr. Martinez?
Judge, if possible, I don't know if this was worked out previously with the other two attorneys on the case, but I'd ask that there be only one supervisory fee. I also ask that there only be one fine across all the cases, Judge, and one court cost if possible. Obviously, if some of these cases double dip with each other, I request that none of the classes double dip. If, for example, there's multiple alcohol classes, we ask that there only be one total, anything like that, Judge.
Okay, so the court will grant that there'll be only one supervisory fee for Mr. Garza, one fine, one court cost. He will only have to take his 90-day Texas driver's license suspension will run concurrent with any administrative suspension.
Yes, ma'am.
He'll only have to take one alcohol class. I have and I'm going to waive his CSR hours for as long as he continues to work, because I do know that he has testified that he works full time.
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe that's it.
Judge, I think there was only there's two different POCSs. Mr. Lozano, you can correct me. I obviously haven't been as privy to this as you have. Is one of those going to be dismissed?
CR 17-10614I is going to be dismissed. The other one is a plea.
Okay.
Okay, so I have for and what about CR 1700462-I and CR 1700464-I? Are those also being dismissed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Then I think that's everything, Judge.
okay. So, Mr. Garza, what is your phone number?
You're muted, Mr. Garza.
956-884-8585.
Okay, do you already have an ignition interlock device?
No, I have the mobile one.
Okay, so we're gonna have to do a swap order for you, where you're going to swap out the mobile device for the interlock device. Okay, so you continue testing until you receive the order for the interlock device, okay?
Okay, and would that be with the same people?
It's the same company, Mr. Garza. They just have two different devices, one for the vehicle, one that's a mobile.
Okay, so Mr. Lozano, and the restitution, are we needing the restitution hearing?
Yes, Your Honor, we're going to need a restitution hearing for CR 21-02287I, CR 17-00463I, and that's it, Your Honor.
Okay, so we need to have that done within 30 days. Mr. Damian, is there still room? Are we having a criminal docket on January the 11th?
Yes, ma'am, we can squeeze it in.
Okay, January the 11th at 9:30 will be the restitution hearing. So, Mr. Garza, you'll come back on January 11th at 9:30. If there's anything due and owing, they'll contact your attorney, and then you'll need to make arrangements before then, okay?
Okay.
Judge, I apologize. I'm texting Ms. Richardson. It was at 1:30 for the restitution hearing?
9:30.
9:30, yes, ma'am.
And that's on Miguel Garza, yes, because I think
Yes.
somebody else answered for it. All right, so January 11th at 9:30.
Thank you, Judge. May we be excused?
Yes, best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Garza as well.
Okay. All right, and now we are on CR 21-02594-I, State of Texas versus Gilberto Garcia Rodriguez, Sr., to the offense of assault causing bodily injury, a Class A misdemeanor. It is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state recommends a $200 fine, court costs, 1 year deferred adjudication, an anger management class, 20 community service hours, forfeiture of the weapon, to stay away from the victims, Nestor Castillo, Soire, Gonzalez, Jocelyn Sarai, and the restitution hearing, Your Honor. Restitution open.
Okay, and Mr. Wahardo, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. Two requests. There's the community service hours, Your Honor, would ask respectfully that they be waived. Mr. Garcia is gainfully employed, and because of the community service hours, he's the only breadwinner of his family, and that would kind of impose an issue for him because he's gainfully employed. Secondly is, as far as the weapon, Judge, the state did try to contact the victims. The victims didn't, at least to the best of my knowledge, and until we had this plea agreement, the victims never came forward to talk to the state. The weapon is a BB gun. We would ask that it not be forfeited to the state. It is not a firearm of any other caliber. So those are my two requests for Your Honor.
Did I miss the recommendation from the state for CSR hours? I didn't hear that.
Yes, Your Honor, 20 community service hours.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to grant his request to waive the 20 CSR hours, and I'm going to deny your request for the forfeiture of the weapon. Either way, it's part of the plea deal, and I mean, he needs to just, if it's not a big deal, if it's a BB gun, he can just turn it in. And what's your phone number, Mr. Garcia?
956-598-3728.
Okay, so, and the restitution date will also be on January the 11th at 9:30.
Your Honor, for the restitution date, do I need to show up, or is that just something that the court and the state would?
Well, the restitution is part of his plea, right? So it's technically after the judgment. So, I mean, it's up to, if he hires you for that hearing, then I would say you need to show up. If you don't, if you consider yourself already not on the case after you plea them out, then he can get whomever or show up on his own. Whatever he wants.
Thank you, Judge. Is that January when?
11th at 9:30.
Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, because I like to be efficient in this court, and because Your Honor, my favorite judge, wanted to bring up a case that I have tomorrow. It's just a status hearing, Judge. Can we pass on that? I try to coordinate with your assistant on it. It was just there's an answer already filed in that court. Is that okay if I contact your assistant and see if we can get it passed? I would hate for the court to waste time on something like this.
Okay, so we're going to be on docket for about another 45 minutes or so. If you want to, at about 4:30, contact our assistant coordinator, Leti Castañeda. She's the one that handles the civil docket.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Okay. We'll see you. Yes, you may.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, on CR 21-07267-I, the state of Texas versus Katrina Valdez for the offense of resisting arrest, search, or transport, a Class A misdemeanor. It is a judgment of the court, ma'am, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state recommends a $200 fine, court costs, 5 months deferred adjudication, and an anger management class.
Okay, Ms. Holmes, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Judge, just any consideration on the fine? She is living in San Antonio, so we would ask that condition number 7 be waived. If she needs to come to do the intake, I'm sure she can do that in the near future.
Okay, so the court will grant your request. Condition number 7 is waived, and so she's allowed travel outside of Hidalgo County. I'll allow her to report by phone or mail. However, she will be required to have to do, I believe, 1 or so in person. And those she will have to make arrangements to come down. But other than that, on the other ones, I'll give her the opportunity to report by phone or mail. I'll give her 90 days to pay the fine, 90 days to pay the court costs. And the rest of the recommendation I will follow. And what is a phone number for you, Ms. Valdez?
210-891-6118.
Okay, so probation department will contact you at their earliest convenience, okay?
And I
you,
believe
Your
that as part of the plea, the assault was going to be dismissed.
Mr. Lozano?
Your Honor, I don't have any notes indicating that the assault was going to be dismissed with a plea to the resisting. We are missing an anger management certificate for a dismissal on the assault.
I think that was tacked on to the resisting. This is a case where the husband gave testimony, they're living together.
We already took that victim testimony.
Correct, Your Honor. We're just missing the
So-
certificate.
Okay, so try to get that, Ms. Valdez, do that anger management course as soon as possible. Submit that certificate and so that the dismissal can be processed on the CR 21-01503-I. It'll be done administratively.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes.
That's all I have. Are we excused?
Yes, and best of luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Okay, that takes care of the pleas that I have in my court.
Your Honor, if we could take victim testimony for number 49.
Sure. Before we move on, okay.
Yes, please.
And what is the name of the defendant?
Vianney Lopez. Number 49 on the docket.
It's because mine downloaded without the numbers. So, hold
It's
on.
the last case, fine.
I don't have it on here. Okay, what's the CR number?
You are 21-12698I, Juan Carlos Serna Jr.
Oh, I thought Vianney Lopez was the defendant. Okay, I have it right here. All right.
Your Honor.
So Ms. Lopez, Vianney Lopez, are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is Mr. Juan Carlos Serna present?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is somebody present from Mr. Solis's office or Mr. De La Fuente's office? Okay, well, we can't, unless do you have permission to move forward without defense counsel?
No, Your Honor, I do not have permission.
Okay,
My mistake.
so, Mr. Serna, I do need for you to contact your attorney and tell him that we're just waiting for them to come on so that we can take the testimony of Ms. Lopez.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll give you some time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so now are we ready to switch gears to Court 8 docket?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on. Number 41, Mr. Damian, is who?
Gonna be Arnulfo Puentes, and attorney is Daniel Gonzalez.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do his plea with Court 8, please. Okay, here it is. All right. Okay, so Arnulfo Puentes is the only one left from our docket that the attorney is here for us to do a plea, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now we're gonna switch gears to Court 8's docket. So if you're ready on a, let me have Mr. Garcia from the state. Okay. So, Mr. Vargas, we're now switching to Judge Omar Maldonado's docket. Mr. Vargas, you said you had an announcement?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, what number?
On number 14 on that docket, Judge.
Okay, that's CR 1906477-8, State of Texas versus Rogelio Lucky Ramos. Is Mr. Ramos present?
He's present, Your Honor.
Okay, and what is your announcement, Counselor?
Judge, We had a tentative agreement. I think the state was going to check to see if they were going to be in agreement to put this individual on AIP and to extend.
Okay,
them.
Mr. Garcia, do you have a response?
Your Honor, this is a case where the individual is on probation. We revoked him due to new felony offenses. However, those offenses haven't been indicted just yet, so they've been asked to hold off on dismissing and extending to place this defendant back on probation. So my proposal at this time would be to reinstate his $3,000 cash surety bond with condition of AIP if and when he gets out, and then we'll reset this further down the line, and I'll wait for the direction of the felony ADA's judge.
That's fine, Judge. 3,000, was it 3,000?
That was the original bond was 3,000 cash surety, Mr. Vargas.
Okay.
Okay, so the court will reinstate the $3,000 cash surety bond and place Mr. Ramos on AIP if he is released, and his new date would be what, Ms. Perez?
January 11th.
Okay,
9:30.
at 1:30 or 9:30?
9:30.
9:30, okay.
Judge, likely nothing's going to happen between now and then. The felonies, it's going to take a while before they get indicted. Is there any way we can just get more time on the misdemeanor?
I'm not in control of the docket for court 8, and I believe that they're under certain instructions, so that's the date that you're given. And you can check in with Mr. Perez before then, or somebody on the staff, and seek some guidance.
We'll give them a call, Judge, later. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, any other quick announcements on County Court 8's docket before we start the pleas? All right, Mr. Cavazos, which number is yours?
Your Honor, number 27, Adan Diaz Miranda.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, do you show that's ready for a plea?
Yes, Your Honor, and he does need the services of an interpreter.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Cavazos. I'm gonna ask the state. Does Mr. Garcia, do you show that this is ready for a plea?
Yes, Judge, we're present and ready for a plea.
Okay, Ms. Castañeda, he's Spanish speaking? And yes, Deputy.
Your Honor, we're done with the jail cases. May we be excused?
You certainly may. You have a terrific day.
Thank you, ma'am. You too.
Thank you. Okay, and Mr. Adan Diaz Miranda, can you hear me? Adan Diaz Miranda. Do you see your client present?
Yes, Your Honor, he raised his hand, but he's muted.
Which one is he?
He's in gray and black.
He's in his vehicle. He's got his name, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Castañeda, please ask Mr. Miranda. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Perez, force of habit. Mr. Perez, will you please ask him to unmute himself?
Señor Miranda, encienda su micrófono. Oprima ahí el botón colorado.
Right away.
¿Se me escucha, Mr. Miranda?
Sí.
Yes, okay.
Okay, and then Mr. Mesa, which number is yours?
Judge, mine should be number 37. It should be the last one on the docket for court number 8.
Okay, oh, that's right. CR 21-10063-H, Michael John Wood. Mr. Wood, are you present? Okay, you're gonna need to speak up when it comes time to answer the questions, okay?
All right.
Okay, Mr. Longoria, which case is yours?
Your Honor, I have number 25. He is present in my office. He is a Spanish speaker.
Okay, CR 16-04-228-H, Paulo Martinez Gomez. All right, Mr. Munoz, which one's yours?
Judge, I have two, please, Judge. The first one is Samuel Vela, Judge, number 34. Yeah. Maybe 35 on the court docket, County Court 8.
CR 21-00803-H, CR 21-00802-H, Samuel Vela. Mr. Vela, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay, make sure you stay unmuted and in a quiet place.
Okay.
And
yes,
the
sure.
second case
Okay.
I have for the second defendant is number 33 on court 8 docket, Amadeo Gonzalez, CR 18-02574-H.
This is a recall from the morning, Judge.
Oh, okay.
It was there for this morning, it was reserved for this afternoon, hopefully.
Oh, yes, I do have him right here. And is Mr. Gonzalez present?
Present, Your Honor.
All right.
And Judge, this is an MTR, so I know the admonishments are a little bit different.
What was his offense?
An accident involving damage, Judge.
Okay. And who else? Is that it? Okay. All right, please listen closely. If you have checked in with the plea, then we're going to take you right now. Give me a moment. So then I have Paulo Martinez Gomez, Adan Diaz Miranda, Samuel Vela, Michael John Wood, and Amadeo Gonzalez. Did I miss anyone? All right.
Judge, I don't know
Defense-
if, sorry, Judge, I don't know if you mentioned my client, Mr.
Oh,
Puente.
thank you. And Arnulfo Puentes on my docket, Arnulfo Puentes. Where is he?
He was here just now, Judge.
What is, I don't have anybody by that name on here. Do you want an opportunity to contact him?
Yes, Judge, let me give him a call. I just saw him maybe like 2-3 minutes ago. I don't know if he,
Is that him on the REVVL4?
I don't think so. I think he had his name. Let me,
No,
Judge, if you
ma'am.
don't.
Hi, what's your name?
Oh, Carlos Salazar.
Carlos Salazar. Is that anybody's client on here?
That should be Mr. Villalobos. He's supposed to be logging on.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Puentes is logging on now. I do not have anybody in the waiting room. Mr.
Judge, I'm
Puentes,
sorry.
can you hear me, Mr. Puentes?
Yes, ma'am. My
Okay.
phone had died. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Okay, make sure that you stay unmuted. All the defendants that are entering a plea, please make sure that you stay unmuted, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Perez, if you want to translate, I guess as we go, for the Spanish speakers. So please raise your right hand.
Gómez, quítese la gorra. Paulo Gómez, quítate la gorra. Okay, todos levanten su mano derecha.
And do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
El testimonio que habrá esta tarde será la verdad y solamente la verdad.
Martinez, Mr. Martinez Gomez, yes or no?
Martínez Gómez, ¿sí o no? You're on mute, Mr. Longoria. ¿Su respuesta? Yes.
Mr. Miranda, yes or no?
Adán Miranda, ¿sí o no?
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Vela, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Wood, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez, Amadeo Gonzalez, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Puentes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you all may lower your hands. In CR 1604228-H, the state of Texas versus Paulo R. Martinez Gomez, is that your true and correct name? He's the Spanish speaker.
He's a Spanish speaker, yeah. Pablo R. Martínez Gómez, ¿es su nombre correcto y verdadero?
Sí.
Yes.
And you are before the court charged with driving while intoxicated with a blood alcohol level of greater than 0.15, a class A misdemeanor.
Señor Gómez, usted se encuentra ante la corte porque es acusado de una ofensa de manejo intoxicado que sopló más de 1.15. Se considera un delito menor clase A.
The class A misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 1 year in Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine upon conviction.
Lo máximo de castigo que usted puede recibir por esta ofensa, señor, es hasta 1 año de cárcel del condado y una multa hasta $4,000 o las dos cosas ya si encontrar culpable.
Do you understand the range of punishment you can receive for the offense of which you are charged?
¿Entiende lo máximo de castigo que usted puede recibir por esta ofensa? Yes.
In CR 21-08523-H, State of Texas versus Adan Diaz Miranda, is that your true and correct name, sir?
Adán Díaz Miranda, ¿ese es su nombre correcto y verdadero?
Sí, yes.
Yes.
You're before the court charged with driving while intoxicated, a class B misdemeanor.
Usted se encuentra ante la corte porque es acusado de una ofensa de manejar intoxicado que se considera un delito menor clase B.
A class B misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 6 months in Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $2,000 fine upon conviction.
Un delito menor clase B, usted puede estar encarcelado hasta 6 meses en el condado, una multa de $2,000 o las dos cosas ya ha sido encontrado culpable. ¿Sí entiende lo máximo de castigo que puede recibir?
Yes, sí.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. In CR 21-00803-H, CR 21-00802-H, the state of Texas versus Samuel Vela, is that your true and correct name, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're being charged with criminal trespass and a possession of marijuana of less than 2 ounces, a class B misdemeanor on each offense. Shortly, I'll explain the range of punishment. And CR 21-10063-H, Michael John Wood, the offense of driving while intoxicated. It's a class B misdemeanor, and shortly I will explain your range of punishment, sir. And CR 20-06758-I, the state of Texas versus Arnulfo Puentes, for the offense of resisting arrest, search, or transport, a class A misdemeanor. Shortly, I will explain the range of punishment. Okay, Mr. Michael Wood, is that your true and correct name?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Puentes, is that your true and correct name?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. A class B misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 6 months in Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $2,000 fine upon conviction. A class A misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 1 year in Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine upon conviction. Do each of you understand the range of punishment you can receive for the offense of which you are charged? Mr. Vela, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Wood, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Puentes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All of you have the right to an attorney and a right to a trial by jury. You can waive one or both of those rights by signing a written document with the court. Did you have an opportunity to review the document with your attorney before signing it? Yes or no, Mr. Vela?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes or no, Mr. Wood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes or no, Mr. Puentes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Perez, if you want to translate for our 2 Spanish speakers.
Tienen el derecho a tener un abogado presente con ustedes, el derecho a presentar su caso en tu grado. Pueden renunciar uno o los dos derechos firmando ciertos documentos. Tuvieron la oportunidad de revisar esos documentos antes de que los firmaran.
Mr. Martinez Gomez, yes or no?
Señor Martínez Gómez, ¿o no? Yes.
Mr. Miranda, yes or no?
Señor Miranda, ¿sí o no?
Sí.
Yes.
Did each of you understand when you signed that document that you were waiving your right to a trial by jury? Mr. Vela, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Puentes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Wood, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
¿Entendieron que cuando firmaron sus documentos estaba renunciando a su derecho de presentar su caso ante un jurado?
Sí.
Yes.
And Mr. Miranda?
Señor Miranda?
Sí.
Yes.
Then the court will accept your waivers of trial by jury. Has any court ever declared you to be mentally incompetent, crazy, or insane? Mr. Vela, yes or no?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Woods, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Puentes, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
¿Alguna corte alguna vez lo ha declarado mentalmente incompetente o que digan que está loco? Señor Gómez? No.
Mr. Miranda?
No.
No.
Counselors, in speaking with your clients, do you find them to be mentally competent and able to assist you in their own defense? Mr. Cavazos?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez?
Sorry, Your Honor, I was muted. Yes, Your Honor. He
Mr.
is
Mesa?
competent, ready to assist.
Mr. Wood is competent, Your Honor.
Mr. Munoz?
My clients are competent, Judge.
Mr. Longoria?
Mr. Gomez is competent, Your Honor.
Okay. The court will make a finding that the defendants before the court are mentally competent and able to assist their attorneys in their own defense. Do each of you understand that if the punishment that I assess does not exceed what's recommended by the state, you'll need this court's permission if you decide to file an appeal? Do you understand that? Mr. Vela, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Puentes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Mr. Vela, yes or no?
Yes, yes, Your Honor. I just answered.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wood, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And you can translate, Mr. Perez.
¿Entiendes el castigo que le doy? Si no sobrepasa lo que está recomendando el fiscal. Si ustedes deciden apelar este caso, necesitan pedir permiso a esta corte primero. ¿Sí entiende, señor Gómez?
Sí.
Yes.
And
Miranda?
Mr. Miranda.
Sí, sí entiendo.
Yes, I understand.
Okay. Do you understand that the court does not have to accept the recommendation of the state? Do you understand that, Mr. Vela?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Woods?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Fuentes?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Gonzalez, on the recommendation on your motion to revoke, do you understand that I do not have to accept the state's recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Perez?
¿Y entiende que la corte no tiene que aceptar el acuerdo que llegaron con el fiscal, señor Gómez?
Sí.
Yes.
And Mr. Miranda?
Yes.
Yes.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. At this time, I need to ask you if you're a U.S. citizen. Mr. Martinez Gomez?
¿Es un americano Martínez Gómez?
No.
No.
Okay, and Mr. Miranda?
¿Señor Miranda?
No.
No.
Mr. Vela?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Woods?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Puentes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you're not a U.S. citizen, then entering a plea or no contest will result in your deportation, exclusion, or admission from our country and denial of naturalization under U.S. federal law. Do you understand the consequences of your plea today, Mr. Martinez Gomez?
Señor Martínez Gómez, entiende que al declararse culpable no lo contendré, pudiera resultar en su deportación, negar la entrada a este país o la pudiera afectar la aplicación para ciudadanía. ¿Sí entienden las consecuencias que pudiera pasar?
Sí.
Yes.
And Mr. Miranda?
Señor Miranda, ¿entiende?
Sí.
Yes.
Knowing and understanding the consequences of your plea today and your immigration status, do you still want to move forward and enter your plea? Mr. Martinez Gomez?
Señor Martínez Gómez, sabiendo las consecuencias que pudiera pasar con la inmigración, ¿es su deseo proceder con su caso aquí hoy a declararse?
Sí.
Yes.
And Mr. Miranda?
¿Y usted, Miranda?
Sí.
Yes.
NCR 1604228-H, the state of Texas versus Paulo R. Martinez Gomez, to the offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood alcohol level of greater than 0.15, a class A misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Señor Pablo Martínez Gómez, a la ofensa de manejo intoxicado, que es un ploma de 1.15, que se considera un delito menor clase A. ¿Usted cómo se declara esta ofensa, señor?
Culpable.
Guilty.
NCR 21-08523-H, State of Texas versus Adan Diaz Miranda, for the offense of driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Adán Díaz Miranda, la ofensa de manejo intoxicado, que se considera un delito menor clase B. ¿Usted cómo se declara esta ofensa, señor?
Culpable.
Guilty.
NCR 21-00803-H, NCR 21-00802-H, the State of Texas versus Samuel Vela, for the offense of criminal trespass, a Class B misdemeanor, and possession of marijuana of less than 2 ounces, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir, on each of those offenses?
Guilty, Your Honor.
NCR 21-10063-H, State of Texas versus Michael John Wood, for the offense of driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
On CR 20-0658-I, the State of Texas versus Arnulfo Puentes, for the offense of resisting arrest, search, or transport, a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, ma'am.
On CR 1802574-H, for the State of Texas versus Amadeo Gonzalez, on your motion to revoke, how do you plead, sir? True or not true?
Somebody else, sir.
True, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
Thank you. Are all of you pleading, the ones that are pleading guilty, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? Yes or no, Mr. Vela?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Wood?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Puentes?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you can translate, Mr. Perez?
¿Ustedes que se están declarando culpables, voluntariamente? Señor Gómez? Yes.
Mr. Miranda?
Miranda?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gonzalez, are you pleading true, freely and voluntarily?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Then the court will accept your pleading true as freely and voluntarily given. And for those of you that entered a plea of guilty, is also accepting your pleas as being freely and voluntarily given. I will call for state's evidence at this time.
Your Honor, state offers plea documents and offense report to State's Exhibit 1, notification and certification of defendant's right to appeal, State's Exhibit 2, waiver of Article 39.14 disclosures of State's Exhibit 3, and waiver of risk and needs assessment at State's Exhibit 4. State would request the defense counsel stipulate to the venue and jurisdiction of this honorable court. State would further request defense counsel stipulate to the fact that all evidence which has been e-filed is sufficient to corroborate today's pleas of guilty. And as to Mr. Gonzalez, Judge, state offers waiver of rights, consent to stipulation of evidence, and plea of true to state's motion to revoke post-conviction community supervision of State's Exhibit 1. State also requests defendant stipulate that he is the same defendant who was previously placed on probation, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Munoz, as to Mr. Gonzalez, any objections?
No, Judge, no objection, Judge.
Okay, and Mr. Gonzalez, are you stating that you are the same individual that has violated their conditions of probation that you were previously placed on, sir?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Martinez Gomez. As to Mr. Martinez Gomez, Mr. Longoria, any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Cavazos, any objections?
No objections, Your Honor, and so stipulated.
And Mr. Gonzalez, any objections?
Agreed, Your Honor, so stipulated, Your Honor.
Mr. Mesa?
No objections, Your Honor.
And Mr. Munoz, as to Mr. Vela?
No objection, Judge.
There being no objections from defense counsel as to the exhibits are hereby admitted and approved. NCR 1604228-H, the State of Texas versus Paulo R. Martinez Gomez. The state of, it is a judgment of the court that you are guilty as charged, Mr. Martinez Gomez. And what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $100 fine, court cost, 300 days, Hidalgo County Jail, credit for 300 days served.
Okay, Mr. Longoria, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. My client still has the Guardian interlock device. He's had it on since 2018. And so he was just asking that that be removed. An order entered by the court to remove.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, are you requesting an interlock device as part of his probation?
No, Judge, it's a temp serve deal.
Okay,
Now, what happened, Judge, he was incarcerated for 300 days on a different case that was dismissed. And when he got out, he put the interlock device on there, so, but he's not on probation, it's a time served case.
okay, so then, sorry, it's because the dog's barking in the background is a little distracting for me, so I'm trying to focus. But I don't want them to mute either. Okay, so the court will order that that interlock device be removed. And the court will give him 90 days to pay the fine and 90 days to pay the court costs. And the rest of the recommendation I will follow.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so best of luck to you, Mr. Martinez Gomez.
Thank you. Señor Martínez Gómez, la corte lo va a encontrar culpable de esta ofensa. La recomendación del fiscal son $100 de multa, los costos de corte, 300 días de cárcel, crédito por 300 días que ya sirvió, y se le va a ordenar que se le quite el aparato. Se le va a dar 90 días para que pague la multa y costos de corte. Buena suerte, señor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
NCR 21-08523-H, the state of Texas versus Adan Diaz Miranda. It is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $250 fine, court cost, 1 year deferred adjudication, an alcohol education program, 90 days Texas driver license suspension, and a mobile device for a term of 6 months.
Okay, Mr. Cavazos, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Just some consideration on the 25 community service hours. I know he's employed here locally.
Okay, if he's employed full-time, the court is going to waive his CSR hours, is going to run his driver's license suspension concurrent with any administrative suspension, give him 90 days to pay the fine, 90 days to pay the court cost, and I do need a phone number for him.
Señor Miranda, la corte lo va a encontrar culpable de esta ofensa, pero su encuentro de culpabilidad va a ser deferido por 1 año de libertad condicional. Va a tener una multa de $250 y tiene que pagar los costos de corte, en cual tiene 90 días para pagar. Tiene que atender un curso de alcohol, su suspensión de licencia que están pidiendo va a correr junto con la suspensión que él tenía, y tiene que instalar un aparato móvil en su persona por un periodo de 6 meses. Se le van a quitar las horas de servicio a la comunidad. Necesito un número de teléfono para usted, señor.
Ok.
Un número de teléfono para usted.
Es el 956-271-2049.
956-271-2049.
Okay. Best of luck to you, sir. You're excused.
¿Alguien le va a llamar de la oficina de libertad condicional, señor, en estos próximos 5 días? Buena suerte, ya se puede retirar.
Ok, gracias.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you, Judge. You have a good holiday.
Thank you, you too. Dogs disappeared. Now I can concentrate. All right, in CR 21-0080383-H and in CR 21-00802-H, the state of Texas versus Samuel Pela, the offense of criminal trespass, a Class B misdemeanor, and possession of marijuana of less than 2 ounces, a Class B misdemeanor. It is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged as to each offense. And what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, in CR 21-00803-H, state's recommendation is a $100 fine, court cost, 180 days, Hidalgo County Jail, probated for 1 year, a life skills course, 15 CSR hours, and no harmful contact with the victim. In CR 21-00802-H, the state's recommendation is a $100 fine, court cost, 180 days, Hidalgo County Jail, probated for 1 year, a drug education course, and 15 CSR hours. And both of these pleas are part of a felony exchange where the felony will be dismissed, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Munoz?
That's correct, Judge. We're only asking the court for some time to pay the fine in court costs, Judge.
Okay, then the court will give him 90 days to pay the fine and 90 days to pay the court cost. Are you asking for them to be one
Yes, I'm asking
supervisory fee?
Yes, one supervisory fee, and for both cases to run concurrent, Judge.
That'll be granted. Okay. And Mr. Vela, a phone number?
956-561-7031.
Okay. The probation department will call you at their earliest convenience, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Have a great
Thank
holiday.
you. Best of luck to you. All right, and in CR 1802574-H, the state of Texas versus Amadeo Gonzalez. It is the judgment of the court, sir, that you are the same individual that violated the conditions of your previous probation. And therefore, what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation in this matter on the paperwork is a $100 fine. Court costs 32 days, Hidalgo County Jail credit for 32 days served. However, after further reviewing the original judgment, Judge, we only had 30 days to sentence him. So we'd ask that the documents be altered to 30 days credit for 30 days.
Okay, Mr. Munoz?
No objection, Judge. I would ask the court to, for any consideration in the fine and court cost, Judge, for the time in jail that he spent.
Okay, 90 days to pay the fine and 90 days to pay the court costs.
Yes, Judge.
And the rest of the recommendation I will follow. Mr. Gonzalez, best of luck to you, sir. Hopefully you can stay out of situations like this.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a good holiday.
Thank you, you too.
Judge, and that's all I have this afternoon, Judge. May I be excused, Judge?
Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
CR 21-10063-H, State of Texas versus Michael John Wood for the offense of driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. It is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation in this matter is a $250 fine. Court costs 1 year deferred adjudication, an alcohol education program, 90 days Texas driver's license suspension, a mobile device for a term of 6 months, and 25 CSR hours.
Okay, Mr. Mesa, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. The first one would be the court would consider waiving condition number 7. My client does not live here. He lives in Spring, Texas. And that's where he's actually zooming in from, Your Honor, from Spring, Texas. So I'd ask the court to consider waiving the condition 7, as well as he did have a suspension of his driver's license, and I'd ask for the suspension to run administratively, Your Honor. They are making a 90-day recommendation suspension on that, so I'd ask for that to run concurrent.
Okay, that'll be granted. Also, he can, I'll allow him to report by mail or by phone. He will have to make arrangements to do at least, I think it's 1 in person.
Yes, Judge, I believe that's true.
So he does need to make arrangements at least for that. Let me see.
Judge,
His finding of guilt will be deferred for 1 year.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, on the community service hours, I don't recall in the original judgment if there was any on there, but I think they're still recommending CSR on his case.
Okay, I did hear 25 CSR hours, Mr. Garcia.
That's correct, Judge. Let me double check that I included that on the judgment. I don't want to.
Is Mr. Wood employed full-time or go to school?
Judge, I believe he is employed. He does work. I think he was down here working at some point, and then he ended up going back.
And I do apologize, Judge. I did wipe them off. After speaking with Mr. Mesa, I did take them off my original recommendation.
Okay, so then he will not have to do the 25 CSR hours. They are not part of the recommendation.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Wood, do you already have a mobile alcohol monitoring device?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so what is your phone number?
352-233-7541.
Okay, so probation will contact you at their earliest convenience and give you a list of vendors for the mobile alcohol monitoring device. I do require that mobile alcohol monitoring device be obtained within 48 business hours of the order.
Okay.
Judge, and that's all I have before this honorable court this afternoon. Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, you both may be excused.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good holiday.
Likewise.
Judge.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. NCR 2006-758-I, State of Texas versus Arnulfo Puentes for the offense of resisting arrest, search, or transport, a Class A misdemeanor. It is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation? Mr. Lozano, that's on yours.
Your Honor, sorry, I'm on mute. It's a $100 fine, court costs, 5 months deferred adjudication and anger management class, and 20 community service hours.
Okay, any questions or requests on behalf of your client, Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, Your Honor, just a few, Your Honor. My client lives in the Rio Grande City area, Your Honor, so respectfully requesting we could waive condition 7 or G. With that said, Your Honor, I don't know if it's okay if my client can report via mail or via telephone call, Your Honor. And the last thing, Your Honor, my client is gainfully employed, so respectfully requesting we could waive community service hours, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Puentes, do you have reliable transportation?
Yes, ma'am. And I live in Zapata.
Okay, I'm not going to waive the in-person. You will have to report in person. However, I will waive that condition and which is, I believe, I guess G, if they made you do the PTD paperwork, and you can travel outside of Hidalgo County, being that you live in Zapata County. Because you are fully employed, I will waive your 20 CSR hours, and I will also defer your finding of guilt for the 5 months, provided that you successfully complete your 5 months, okay?
Yes.
And I'm also going to give you 90 days to pay the fine and 90 days to pay the court cost.
And Your Honor, just for clarification, my client will have to appear one time with the probation department, but then after that, he could report via phone or mail?
No, he has to go in person. It's Zapata. It's not like we're not, in another world. So people from Zapata come shopping over here all the time. So if they can eat here and shop here, they can travel here to report in person for probation. If it was way further, then I could understand.
Ma'am, the only thing is, I do work out of town a lot. I work in New Braunfels, all over the state. Es lo único. I'm a Dollar General job superintendent. I mean, I can deal with the probation. They understood, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, just speak with Miss Soto. Let her know, and then because you're going to be assigned someone that you're going to have to report to.
Yes, ma'am.
And so it's not all the time. They're not going to see you every day, but there is going to be certain time periods that you'll have to go. Now, if speaking to your probation officer or after a certain amount of time, this is only 5 months, okay?
Right.
It's not like we're going to have you on there for years and years.
Yes.
So this is only 5 months. And so if that is going to be the case, then you can appear in person. So, okay, just talk to them. What is your phone number?
956-693-8910.
Okay. All right, Mr. Fuentes, good luck to you, sir, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, anything else, Mr. Gonzalez?
No, Judge, that's it. That's all I have before this honorable court, Your Honor, if I may please be excused.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Longoria, did we forget something on your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry. That was number 25 on the County Court 8 docket. Judge, there's a NISI out, and I was going to ask if the court would consider recalling that NISI.
Okay, have your client remove his cap. Okay, so Mr. Garcia, can you verify that there's still an active NISI?
Yes, Judge, I'm checking on that right now.
Should be recalled with the judgment, Judge.
Mhm.
I was going to say, Judge, I believe with the judgment, if there is an eyesight, it should get wiped out.
There's a standard language in the documents that will recall any active NISIs, but just to clear your mind, I'll go ahead and order that any active NISI on your client with respect to this case is recalled.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
That's all I had. Thank you.
And Judge, just briefly for the record, there was an active NISI before this plea, I guess.
Okay. All right, so it'll be taken care of.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I would still be careful if I were him because it does take time to process.
Yes, sir. I'm going to explain it to him. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, anything else before we move on? Because we have a unicorn sighting. Mr. De La Fuente?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I had one case on Mr. Serna.
Yes. And we are ready on your victim testimony?
Yes, Judge, we're ready, present ready.
Okay. Give me one moment. Okay, and that is on CR 21-12698-I, the state of Texas versus Juan Carlos Serna, Jr. Ms. Lopez, are you with us?
Yes, Judge, I am.
Okay, and Mr. Lozano, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ms. Lopez, if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Lozano, you may proceed.
Yes, could you please state your full name for the record?
Vianey Adelaida Lopez.
What is your relationship with Juan Carlos Serna Jr.?
He is my husband.
Okay, and how long have you guys been together?
We've been married since 2015.
And do you live in the same home?
Yes, we do.
Can you tell me what occurred on August 7th, 2021?
We had an incident. He had been drinking that night and we had an argument. I didn't let him into the home and he did make his way into the home. I did call the police after he made a statement stating that if he wanted to shoot himself, to leave him alone, basically. And the reason why I picked up the protection order was because I did feel at the time that he was a threat.
Okay, and did he push you at any time?
He did push me, yes.
Did it cause any pain or discomfort?
No,
Okay. Is there a history of violence in your relationship with him?
there's never been a history of violence.
Are you concerned about any future violent acts?
No,
Did you fill out an affidavit of non-prosecution at the district attorney's office?
yes, I did.
Did you do it freely and voluntarily?
Yes,
Nobody promised you anything or threatened you in any way to get you to sign the affidavit of non-prosecution?
no,
Do you wish to drop the charges against Jesus Carlos Serna Jr.?
Juan Carlos Serna Jr.
Yes, excuse me.
Yes, I wish to drop the charges.
Do you understand that by dropping the charges, this case cannot be reopened in the future?
Yes, sir, I understand.
However, you do understand that if another incident was to occur, you can open up a new case.
Yes,
That's all we have, Your Honor. State passes the witness.
Okay, Mr. De La Fuente, do you have any questions of the victim?
Judge, I have no questions for the victim, Your Honor. I just, for Mr. Lozano, I'd like to ask the state if they do have in front of them an affidavit of non-prosecution that was filled out.
Yes, we do have an affidavit of non-prosecution.
No further
Okay.
questions.
Okay, I believe the only thing that he's showing that's pending, and Mr. Lozano, you can correct me, it's his anger management certificate.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so the court will accept the victim testimony today, and upon the anger management certificate being submitted, we'll grant the dismissal administratively.
We'll get that done, Judge.
Okay, all right, anything else?
Not from the defense, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, then Ms. Lopez and Mr. Serna, best of luck to you all, and you are excused. And Mr. De La Fuente, if nothing further, you are also excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day. Okay. I have not heard or seen Mr. Villalobos on our waiting room, so.
Yes, we're gonna go ahead and reset them for Thursday
Okay,
at 2 o'clock.
so is there anything outstanding, Mr. Perez, on your docket?
No, that should be it.
Okay, and let me go down our docket.
This Thursday.
Okay, Douglas Patrick Ellenwood. Did anybody call in for that?
What number was that, Judge?
46.
No, Judge, we haven't had any calls for that.
Okay, then go ahead and put that on your list. And I believe that's the only one. Do you want to call out that name 3 times?
Yes, ma'am. Douglas Patrick Ellenwood Tool. Douglas Tool. Douglas Tool.
That name being called out 3 times and no response. One says the state.
Your Honor, state requested a judgment and I said be granted KPS issued and all bonds forfeited for this no-show defendant.
All right. That concludes the dockets for County Court 8 and County Court 9. Then before we get off the record, let me go ahead and, Mr. Salazar, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Salazar, your case is going to be heard on Thursday. Mr. Perez, what time?
2 o'clock.
I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock? Okay.
Yes.
So you'll get with your attorney to get the link so you can get on for 2 o'clock on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay?
The 15
The 16th.
or 16, yeah. Okay.
All right. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, let me stop the live stream.